Now here for clutch, okay, so we have actually three different type of clutches that we'll be looking at. Three different kind of clutches. One is disc clutch, the second one is cone clutch, and then the last one is the centrifugal clutch. Okay, so the application of clutch usually, okay, is to allow the engage and the disengaging of gears. That means is to temporarily have a power cut off to your engine. Okay, so that is the purpose of using a clutch for power transmission. Purpose is for the power transmission. So here, now a friction clutch, here, this part here, a friction clutch has its principal application in the transmission of power of shafts. Now the main purpose is for transmission, power transmission, and the machines which must be started and stopped frequently. Okay, usually you concentrate on power transmission on machines. It's just like your car, okay, which you need to stop or start the power transmission very frequently. Now, then its application is also found in cases in which power is to be delivered to the machines partially or fully loaded. Then, now this is all about clutches, okay? Why do we employ clutches in machines? Now, the force of friction is used to start the driven shaft, okay, from rest, and gradually brings it up to a proper speed without excessive slippage of the frictional surface. Now then, the contact surface should develop a frictional force that may pick up and hold the load with reasonably low pressure between the contact surfaces. The next point, the heat of friction should be rapidly dissipated and tendency to grab should be at a minimum. Now the surface should be backed by material stiff enough to ensure a reasonably uniform distribution of pressure. So for frictional clutch, most important thing is for the frictional force. Okay, so there must be a frictional force between the frictional lining or the friction disc and the flywheel and or the pressure plate. So by now you know what is a clutch, right? Now, here you have a lot of things to read, okay? So what you need to do is please help me to read this, okay, when you are free. So this is based on single clutch. This is a single clutch assembly. And this is a multi-disc clutch assembly. So you have two different arrangement here. One is based on single disc and the other one is the multi-disc. Okay, so we will come to this formula later on. Okay, so material for frictional surface. Now, so these are the criteria or the important points when you choose the type of materials for the frictional surface or for clutches. First, it should have high and uniform coefficient of friction. 2, it should not be affected by moisture and oil. Then, it should have the ability to withstand high temperatures caused by slippage. Then, it should have high heat conductivity. Then, it should have high resistance to wear and scoring. Now, so these are the different types of materials that you have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Sometimes, okay, now lately there are more than this what we have here. This is just a few examples that we are using, the materials that we are using. Okay, So when you refer to this table here, you have the operating conditions of all these type of clutches, frictional materials, and then the coefficient of friction that you have here, and then the operating temperature, and then the maximum pressure, okay, of those materials. Considerations in the designing of friction clutch. The suitable material forming the contact surfaces should be selected. The moving parts of the clutch should have low weight in order to minimize the initial load, especially in high-speed service. The clutch should not require any external force or to maintain contact of the frictional surface. The provision for taking up wear and contact surface must be provided. The clutch should have a provision for facilitating repairs. The clutch should have provisions for carrying away the heat generated at the contact surface. The projected parts of the clutch should be covered by guards. Okay, so these are the points that you should look at when we are doing a clutch design. Okay, so this is a sample of a clutch arrangement. Okay, a single disc clutch arrangement. Okay, so that's all for this slide.